programs. I'm Gracie Klim, and I'm here with senior varsity lacrosse and field hockey captain Mallory Bertrand. Thanks for joining me, Mallory.
Thank you for having me.
So, when did you first have an interest in lacrosse?
Well, my dad played lacrosse in college, so when he heard there was a Little League forming around us, he got together with a few of our family friends, and they created a K-2 team at the local East Windsor PAL Center.
So you grew up playing lacrosse?
Yep, I started in second grade, and I've just been in love with it ever since.
So since this is your second season being a captain, how do you find that leadership role?
Well, first of all, I really enjoy being captain. I think it's a huge honor to be voted by your team. I think it's a huge honor that your coach thinks, you're qualified. And I really don't take that role lightly. I think it's a huge responsibility. I think it's, you guide other people. You make sure when there's underclassmen on varsity, you make sure they're welcomed. Because when I was an underclassman on varsity, I remember I was really overwhelmed, but our captains really took care of me. So I always try to replicate that and make sure I'm doing the same for the younger girls on our team. And just making sure everybody's getting along. And I think it's a huge responsibility, but I think it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot from it every year.
For being captain, what advice would you give future captains once you graduate?
I would just advise them to just make sure that, you do have your friends on the team, but make sure you're being a friend to everybody. You want to make sure that everybody's being included, everybody, when you're having pasta parties, you're talking to everybody, you talk to the freshmen, you give people rides, and you just basically want to be a model player. It's a lot of responsibility, but you do have to strike a balance of kind of being everybody's friend, if that makes sense.
What are some of your main goals after being named captain?
Really just ensuring, a strong team bond is built, because that really ensures a good season. Even if you're not winning a lot of games, the goal of, these high school sports is to just make sure everybody has fun and everybody still loves the sport after you're done with the season. So ensuring a strong team bond and we want to improve our skills. We want to make sure every girl's improving personally, their playing ability.
How would you initiate a strong team bond?
Well, first it starts off the field. We want to make sure, when we're having pasta parties or even just, in the locker room before and after practices and games, everybody's talking, everybody's getting along. Starts in school, you say hi to everybody in the hallway. It's a fun vibe. And then on the field, that means, you guys trust each other. Snowballs in a good way. You trust each other more on the field and you talk more off the field. And I think that really good. I think we have a good team bond, so I think that helps.
Mm-hmm. So how's your experience being captain in field hockey helped with lacrosse?
Yeah, I think definitely. I was captain this year in field hockey, and I was also junior captain last year in lacrosse. And I think I learned a lot last year from lacrosse because I really shadowed the captains and I really absorbed everything I could from them because they were really good captains, Maddie and Danny. And then I kind of took that and I applied that to field hockey, and then I applied it to lacrosse too. And I think it's helpful because everybody kind of has things when they do something, they might think, if I were to do that again, I maybe would do it differently or I wouldn't do it again. So I think it's nice. I do have the ability, I've been able to do it multiple times, and I think it's a good thing to do and to have.
Yeah. So after an up and down start to this lacrosse season, what are some of your predictions for the rest of the season?
I think we're going to have a good rest of the season. All of our games are pretty competitive and winnable. So I think as long as we stay together, we're going to have a pretty good season. So.
Yeah, because you guys face some of the most difficult teams in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Is that better or worse for the team, going against?
I think in our case it was honestly better because we learned a lot about ourselves. We honestly learned, it sounds cheesy, but we truly didn't give up in a lot of those games. So I think we kind of learned in those hard games when we aren't giving up and when we aren't being discouraged. So when it's coming to these even games that we really can win, it's really showing, and we really are being competitive with teams that we wouldn't have been competitive with before. Last year, I think Princeton beat us by, I don't know the exact score, but maybe more than 10 points. And this year, it was a 5-goal game, which I think shows a lot because we really improved as a team.
Yeah, as a team, what would you say some of the strengths or weaknesses are?
I think we are a young team. I wouldn't consider that a weakness. I just think we're still learning a lot about ourselves, a lot about how we play together. But I think it's kind of a strength and a weakness because we are learning pretty quickly how we do play together. We are teaching people who are new to lacrosse how to play. And I think, again, we do have that very strong team bond, so it kind of comes easy to be able to teach people everything.
Yeah. So what have some of your practices been like?
So our practices are very disciplined. You know, we get to the turf at 2:30, and we start warm-ups and we start the practice right away. So I think that's kind of the key to practicing. It's a very disciplined practices, very disciplined pregame, warm-up for games. And I think that's kind of has helped keep us in line.
Do you think discipline is key to like a successful like game or season? Or
Yes, definitely.
yeah. You individually, like, how do you feel about your recent performances?
I think I've been doing good. I honestly think I've been learning a lot from our other captains this year. I think I've been learning a lot from Lena on defense about how to communicate more effectively with my team. And I think I've been learning a lot more about Sophie, about like IQ on the field, and like because she knows a lot about the game. And I think it's just like you never stop learning. And I think honestly, more than ever, I've been learning a lot from the girls on the team.
Yeah. So what are some like your most memorable moments of your high school lacrosse career?
Well, and like playing wise, we upset Hopewell my sophomore year in states.
Mm-hmm.
We were like the 16th seed, and they were like the first and second. That was like huge. And just honestly, our Easter dress contest, or I don't even know what it was called, our ugly Easter dress contest.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. And I think we're bonding a lot more than we used to as a team. So I think it's a lot more fun this year.
Yeah. So do you plan to continue playing lacrosse after high school?
I don't plan on playing like NCAA in college, but possibly club. And I definitely see myself as I get older wanting to coach, because I loved playing on the rec teams when I was younger, and they were just coached by like older college kids and by parents. And I definitely want to continue that tradition for kids as well.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. Well, thank you, Mallory, for joining me, and best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
For Ram Report Sports, I'm Gracie Klim.